First item on the agenda is for Tuesday, March 10, 2015. Review and approve the minutes of the February 10 meeting for which I was not present.
Oh, well, I'll move we approve the minutes for February 10th.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All abstain? Review the monthly warrant and approve payment of the bills. Any questions, concerns?
Nope.
I will entertain a motion.
I move we approve the warrant of March 10th for an amount of $36,133.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Payroll. Nothing unusual there.
I move we approve the payroll warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's for $5,153.88. Don't need one anymore. All set.
Oh, you will for the letter.
Oh, that's right. There he is. Citizen comments. Being there are no citizens present, we will move on. We will wait for the treasurer's report as she is not here yet. Hey Norm, are you ready? Are you ready for a highway facilities report?
Sure.
Bring it.
Well, as you know, this month we're pretty much winding up hopefully our snow. We've had a considerable amount this winter. One thing for everybody to be careful of is the freeze, melt thaw, melt freeze. You know what I mean? I think it's important enough to make a mention of it that, you know, if you see a spot, especially particularly in the morning and it's wet, you know, take caution and just be aware that it could be ice. So that's a big thing that we'll be chasing quite a bit. We've had quite a few breakdowns this month. You know, our red truck, I just got it back together today. I'm driving it now. That's cost us a fortune, but it is what it is. It's costing doing business. So.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or
No,
wait for another time?
It's fixed. you know, we've had to put pick them into it. We've had to put injectors, a couple injectors into it. You know, we put ball joints into it. I had local shop. I mean, just sort of pick on anybody. You know, I'm not going to say his name, but some of you might know. You've done some work just for timing. You know, we had to put ball joints in the truck, and I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
So, and he works with us, charges parts to our account, so, you know, we don't pay for markup there. Plows road, cutting edges, typical maintenance, you know. Just
What's our salt supply?
we're okay. We're okay. We've, yeah, we're fine. We should make it through the rest of the year. I don't anticipate in buying any more. Right now there's a load going to another municipality because of they didn't have any room, so they put us a load in ours, and then we ended up keeping it because we had to help out the college. So, you know, we're going to do some billing later. I didn't bother, you know what I mean, we didn't bother sending out the bill now because you know, we trust the person that got it.
And you can work that all out, and that'll be fine. And
Right.
it's great
Yeah.
that
So,
we're able to help.
But yeah, I don't foresee. So there should be one more bill coming, and that's it, you know, and the other town that got it, they really didn't need it either now, so it was like if it didn't show up till September, they didn't care, so. But it's been ordered, you know, salt was a big shortage for
Yeah.
a lot of municipalities and private contractors, so. Well, you know, we'll start sweeping soon, you know, earlier than later. And that's the best I can tell you. We got some drainage problems, so, you know, if you have a drain in front of your house and you see it plugged with junk, either give us a call or do one even better, just take your foot and kick it out of the way so water can go into it, you know, because that'll help the freeze thaw, so.
I will contest to the, you know, the sidewalks, they're piled up with so much snow on the sides that it.
Well, it's gonna be a different problem this year than a lot of years because of, we never had you know, that January thaw or the
Exactly.
February thaw, you know what I mean? It was just cold right through, and now it's, you know, so there's that many more months built up now. Zach spent a lot of time in the areas that he could, and he actually blew the mountain off the sidewalk, and, you know, we couldn't do that everywhere, but, you know, but you'll go down Water Street now, and, you know, we chase potholes there every day because the water gets in the crack, freezes, blows the asphalt up, you know, and it's a ridiculously expensive amount. I mean, we got a thing into one of our vendors, $1,000 for, you know, patch blacktop.
Right.
It's just, you know, like on College Road, we won't ever use that stuff. We'll just use cold patch, and then when it blows out, when the hot mix plant's open, we'll go out there and do it with that because that road's so bad.
It's sad that Water Street's already starting to show its age.
Yeah.
Considering it's,
Yeah, I don't know when the last time it was, I mean, it hasn't been paved since I've been here, so.
just before
8, 9
you were.
years? Is that right?
But I bet it seemed like just before, but I bet it was a while before.
When was that project done? $1 million,
2004 or 5, right?
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, so.
But it was never done right to begin with. It was a patch. That's,
Well, and, you know, unfortunately, when we decide what to do, you know, now that things kind of winded down, we can fill out some of our grant paperwork, get some money back, and then we can decide on paving some little teeny streets, you know, and again, I don't want to mention a couple on TV because I don't want people to think that their street's going to get it, but, you know, there could be small streets as we did a couple of years ago on Polygraphic Lane, you know, because that's what we can afford to do, you know, and we have a couple of those, or we'll decide to bank our money and just wait to go for the big bad
for
road.
college, yeah.
We do have a price for our crack sealing machine coming back, and again, we're gonna team up with Shasbury on that, so that's coming, so again, you know, a little bit of preventive maintenance goes a long way.
Where will you run that this year?
I honestly think I'm gonna head up to Ace's Way, because that hasn't been paved in a long time, and that's starting to crack up pretty good. Though you'd say, wow, we don't get a lot of traffic on there, but that's the road to, you know, roads like that to go up and kind of save them so they don't get much worse, you know. And that's probably my first target, and then if we have more, I mean, we could go through hundreds of pallets of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's humongously labor intensive, and you know, it's just timing. I mean, if we had more time, I would buy more pallets, because that's the cheapest bang for your buck.
And is it your opinion, well, it's been 2 years now since you did Prospect,
It's been more than that, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
2 or 3, or 2.5 or whatever,
Yeah.
and it seems like
It's been
it,
all two. This will be the third summer.
and it seems like
You live on it, you drive on it every
I'm
day.
not
You
seeing a
got
lot more
neighbors.
blowouts or anything.
Right, you know, I mean, bang for bang, it's your best pavement maintenance. You know, and again, we target better streets. We'll go back up West Street again, we'll go Main Street. We'll go over to, on the Bank Street where we just paved last year. Everybody said, well, why? Because it's got concrete in it, like all Route 7A going up, you know what I mean? You can see those little lines, so that's, you go there this year, you let it sit a year, you fill those lines. And, you know, and then if that street will last for a good long time.
Well,
So,
Okay. Any other questions for Norm?
Well, it looks like it'll be a good, really good mud season for us, too. I understand the frost is pretty deep.
Well, the frost is pretty deep, but that probably means a long mud.
That's what
season.
she's saying, I
Yeah,
think.
that's,
You know,
good.
you can tell there's a couple spots on Park Street,
yeah.
one by where we were last week, you know, that's all, it's just getting mucky and, you know what, I guess, and this is, I guess this is sad, and you know what I mean, I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna, you bought a house on a dirt road, you know it. So, that's it. That's all I can say to it. There's things that come along with that. Peace, tranquility, being out in the country, but mud and potholes come right with it too. So,
Washboards.
you know, it is what it is. We'll do the best that we can within the constraints. Right now, we're taking, just like we did last year, we're both taking Fridays off, one to get rid of some of our time, and two to save money. Nobody's here, nothing's moving, you know. So try to save a little bit of money on fuel. I'm sure our fuel bill this month was crazy, you know. But you know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's better than it could have been, would have been a year ago.
Well,
Just in
remember,
terms of price.
we get some of that money back now, which we never did on all those years past. So,
Yep.
so at least it's something.
Okay. Development Review Board,
They have the
there's a meeting on the 24th.
4th. Yeah.
There's an application for, well, there's an interest in the nursing home building up on Prospect that seems to fit much better with the current zoning. It's going to require some changes that we knew would probably need to happen anyway, but I think we'll
Now, are
leave.
they looking at leasing a part of the building? Is that the idea?
I don't know how much to say about it because I don't know where people are at with it. I think a better.
Okay.
But in general, I think there's a developer looking at the building to fully restore it
Okay.
as a mixed-use medical office building, which would be on the tax rolls,
Good.
and it's really the best thing we could hope for if it works out. And that's the only thing they're meeting on. They met last month on an issue about changing closing a loophole or something with
Yeah, right,
over on Bank Street.
right. Right, it was
With
just
respect-
correcting
Parking, right?
Yeah.
bylaws.
Fire department, I don't know anything. Water board. Hoping to get an opportunity, Bill and I at least, to have a meeting with Steve Goodrich, just to keep chain line of communications open and stuff. Did you hear back from him?
No, I don't think I think he's been straight out.
Oh, yes,
So,
Because we had talked about meeting about the insurance,
yeah.
and
yeah.
he basically, he is out on the delivery route.
Yeah.
Because all those guys were out dealing with frozen pipes, so I
right.
decided to wait until,
And I know that the water board themselves has been dealing with a lot of frozen mains here in the village.
Oh, wow.
I've been lucky so far, but it sounds like you have not. Although that was more underneath.
that was an internal problem in my own apartment, yeah.
Yeah. So good luck with that, and again, now that we're reaching these new temperatures, I think the frost line will start moving
Right.
up. New business. What do we want under that? Is there anything?
Well, I had a couple of things,
Yeah.
actually. I mentioned one. One is I had received notice that our local emergency operations plan needs updating. Again, this is an annual occurrence. Though the good news is that if things haven't changed, and I haven't had a chance to read through it to see if things have changed or not, you just need to update the front page. Much easier. So we'll see. I haven't had, as I said, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet.
Can I, before you go, move on to the next, can we assume that now that you are free and clear of the charter things, that you will just determine what we need to do with that, and then?
Yes, I guess I assumed I was going.
Okay. Appreciate that.
I think we all assume that too.
We all assumed it also.
Nobody else is jumping forward.
However, I did want to remind us all, including myself, that part of that is that we all should have taken the basic course. And did I send the email? An email that came out of the, no, I guess not. I'm still getting blank.
Recently.
So anyway, I didn't copy the whole email, but there's the link where you can get ICS 100, which is the basic course, and we all should have that. And along the same line, they're offering the next level course up locally here in Bennington. And it's not a requirement for select boards or whatever. I could use Ed Meyer's email. I'll forward it to you, Janice. Okay. And he may be getting this, but I don't think they may not have it.
This email is brand new,
Okay.
so I doubt
Yeah,
it.
now he hasn't had it.
He still doesn't. It's Ed Harrington,
Oh, okay.
and I will send you that.
Okay. It's coming up in April, and the target audience for this, it's called ICS. I don't, maybe I know what ICS stands for. Anyway, for single resources and initial action incidents. And it's 2 days, all day, so it's not easy for working folk to get to. But it's for first responders, supervisors, emergency management directors, and coordinators, and those who would likely be assigned as unit leaders and above within a ICS structure or directed by the chief executive of the agency. So it would be a natural for Ed as our, and he does, I know he does try to get training to trainings as he can.
Norm, would that be something you and Zach would be interested in having anything to do with? This incident command system training? No? Good answer.
Okay, so maybe I'll just forward this whole email from Allison now on to the board, so you have that. It
That'd be
had
good.
information about this.
Okay, now what you're saying, they would like everybody that's either a trustee or a selectman to take this ICS 100,
That's right.
which is an online course.
Yep.
That's right.
So you can just go online and you don't have to go to any.
That's correct, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's actually open to anybody. So that anybody in the community who wants to learn a little bit more about emergency response stuff, they could to go to the FEMA, training.fema.gov and take the ICS 100 course.
So I'll report back at our next meeting. If we're ready to go, I'll fill out that front sheet. If we have to do a little more, I'll check that out. Let you know. The other thing I wanted to bring up is next Tuesday is our annual meeting, and our charter did pass. Charter revisions did pass, and there'll be when people get their book, there'll be a annual report. There's a report in there of the changes that took place. The amended document, I sent out an email to our legislators because actually the changes don't go into effect until the legislature has approved them. And I heard back from Dick Sears, who I'd been in touch with right along, and saying he'd be glad to help. I asked him to be in touch with the other representatives to work out a plan together. It technically, I think, should start through the House of Representatives. So, but if they work it out some other way and that's acceptable to the legislature, that's fine with me. But we really would like to see it acted on this session, and they're halfway through the session. So
They'll get to it.
yeah, I don't think it'll take long. And the other thing that's good about it is that it's already had at least an informal review by the council, legislative council. So the language should be pretty good at this point. And the last thing is that in doing the review, we took a look at the auditors' positions, decided to keep the elected auditors and to encourage people to run for those positions. Our treasurer's nodding over here. So I'm thinking that it would be helpful to have a short presentation at the meeting, at least, to explain the role of the auditor. And actually, if there are people that might be interested before the meeting, there's materials that can be sent out. And Mary, do you have other thoughts on that in terms of recruiting?
Well, I think if there are people that are interested, we could just get together and like you say, just discuss what an auditor would do. And I'd be happy to provide an overview or even a little bit of training. And the VLCT does some very nice training.
Right, there's one coming up, actually.
Yes. I've actually attended that just to know, just to know what it is, and yeah, it's not as daunting as it sounds. And I think it's a nice step for someone else to be able to have that comfort level that policy, processes, and procedures are followed routinely and regularly, and that there are all the proper checks and balances that one would want.
That's great. The training is coming up at the end of this month.
They have more than one a year.
Okay. But there is one on March 24th coming up. And I'm assuming we'd support anyone interested in going. There's a nominal charge for that. So, Mary, maybe you and I can touch base if there's just to go over what information would be helpful to have for people.
Yes.
And be prepared to do something at the meeting then.
All right.
Right. And I didn't know if there was anything else in regards to the meeting other than encouraging people to come.
Yeah, please come. It's no
7:30.
fun without anybody there.
Right.
March 17th, 7:30, the Village School of North Bennington Gymnasium. All a good time.
Very agreed.
Right, it's St. Pat's Day, right? Other new? Old business.
The only thing was asking if anybody had any comments on this report on the Bank Street project to send to the Agency of Transportation. I think I sent you guys all electronic copies, and Mark and I can sign it, but I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity, if anybody had any questions or comments or anything, this would be the
Bill,
the
I
last minute.
thought it was fantastic.
Very good.
I thought it was put
Thank you.
together extremely well with all kinds of great documentation. I thank the people who, the truckers who have been involved with it.
And who gave us great written comments with some history, so.
Yeah, you know, I think we all recognize there's some problems there, and it's kind of still unclear what the origin of those are, or what what alternatives or means of fixing it we have, but I think this is the first step. And
Yep.
I think that's very important to get that up there as soon as possible. And I read it thoroughly, and I'm happy to have you sign off on it if that's the way you want to do it.
Yep.
Y'all feel the same about that?
Yes.
All righty, we'll send it off then. Thank you.
You had some old?
Yep, just one. We had our Upper Main Street sidewalk meeting this afternoon. The one question they had was obviously marble. V-Trans always likes to know what you're planning on doing with the marble, and because it's in a within the historic district, they would like to see us either reuse it where it is, even though the condition is not great, or have a plan as to where we could use it.
Where is this? Sorry. Right up here?
Both
Yep,
sides
upper.
of,
Both sides? Okay.
Yeah, so the one idea I had that we could, I'm not sure if it has to be used within the historic district, if it comes out of the historic district, but we could certainly use some down at McWaters Park. We could use it to dress up where the culverts go in and out, and so there are some places like that. I didn't know if anybody else had any other suggestions, but I told
That's exactly where my mind went.
Jim Sullivan that we'd get back to him.
we'll find out about the stipulations on that as to where it can be used.
I mentioned that idea to them today, and she wrote it down. They would check into it, but if there were any others, I know at one point we had kicked around an idea around the fountain, but I know that's already
Pretty much solved
taken care
there.
of.
But the other idea we talked about was that little sidewalk in the Memorial Park there next to,
That came up today. Norm was not excited about that idea.
Norm, would you like to elaborate on that lack of excitement?
Yeah, there's already one there. Look underneath the blacktop, you can see all the pieces.
oh, we should
So we
take
should
the-
tear it all up and put.
But then we'd have to figure out what we're gonna do with that marble when we tear it up.
We should put a beautiful stamped concrete sidewalk there. Marble's slippery,
I know.
it eats up snow blowers, it's not.
I agree, you know, there've been more lawsuits relative to people slipping on public walkways with marble. I don't get it, why, I love it, it's nice, it's pretty. I was at a forum last night in Manchester at the beautiful, brand-new public library. You ever been up there? Just north of the park, my God, great facility. And the whole front of it is wrapped in outdoors with huge 4x4 or 5x5 slabs of marble. And what do they have sitting on top of it? But these commercial rugs
So people know.
leading you from the parking lot to the front door, because you can't walk on it.
When they have ways they score it, but it's still slippery.
But we were talking about that today too. That's a yearly maintenance,
It wears.
because it is marble, so it'll wear, so you've gotta
Yeah.
continually.
With granite, you can spald it and do that and create a rough surface, but yeah. No, I agree. It ought to be used more as a vertical
Yeah.
fascia to some sort of wall or.
Well, there are several places
You know.
down there we could use it. Even coming off the Henry Bridge, where there are huge concrete slabs, you can fill in between there to dress that up some. I mean, there are plenty of places down there we could use it, just kind of one of the things that I thought of. If anybody has any other ideas, or they come to you, I'll shoot them to Jim.
Yeah. Good.
But they said they definitely want to have a plan.
Before it gets pulled up, they gotta know, they pretty much
Well, we wouldn't pull it up until we get the grant, and it's something that we have to write into the grant.
into the grant.
So,
Well, come up with something creative on that.
yep.
Are you suggesting that maybe it's a project that'll have to be downscaled a little bit?
Yeah, there also, the price came in a little higher than there is money in the grant. So I think in order for us, the rough figures were, it would cost us probably, close to $80,000 to $100,000 on our end, because of where all the money was. So when she comes back with the plans, Dufresne Group will come back with segmented plans. So we may have to limit it to one side on the upper side, but it's still kind of early. But yeah, it'll come back to us in pieces that we could kind of figure out what we could bite off.
I just need to make the point, there is always that option of do nothing with these grants, and it's great that we're exploring the options and
Yeah.
whatnot, but
Well, yeah, if they don't approve it in piecemeal, there's no way we could do it. I mean, not doing it would be the only option.
Right.
But she seemed to think she's had a lot of luck with sending these bids in, finding out what the grant money is, and they just say, what do you want to eliminate? So they do allow for eliminating things so you can fit it to within your budget, so she didn't seem to think it would be that big a problem to.
It's always
To do
my
it in
sense
sections.
that the west side is the important one is the most important one to do, because it connects to the existing sidewalk here, which connects then to, and it's a unique time in the transition between the ownership of that house.
Yeah.
Where,
No, it's the one the school kids tend to use also.
Yeah, no, I think in terms of real heavy moving of earth, that there's less work to be done on the west side than there would be the east side, because we've been talking about digging into all these banks. So I think the idea right now would be that would probably be the first thing we would
So
eliminate.
for the marble, before we do anything, we have to have some kind of plan.
They would like to see written into,
What if we did something like try and see if the college might be interested in taking that on as a project to find a artistic use of it, and that would be our plan.
yeah, I don't really know.
I like that idea.
Yeah, they didn't really give us any guidelines
I
on
think
what
they-
the plan
the
has to be.
kids
They would like to know what you're
They could
planning
come
on.
up with something very interesting.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe some nice sculpture
Yeah.
that could be put somewhere that, public space. Find out what what basically the restrictions are. If it could be repurposed for non-sidewalk, non-transportation, but to the benefit of the greater village, that would give us a little more latitude as to how to proceed with it.
Okay.
I don't think, they weren't stuck on the plan, they were just,
They need something.
it's a box that needs to be checked, that
Right.
you have something to do.
It looks good if you've accounted for it.
Okay. Okay. Any other,
I got one minor thing. I've been working with Green Mountain Power for the last couple of months on this, trying to get the cost straightened out.
Right.
I finally got a hold of somebody in the billing department that seemed to know what was going on. So I finally got a call this afternoon, and she finally worked out the numbers, and she said, we will be getting a credit of $1,430. So we should be seeing that coming up in the next bill. And now they think they've got it all straightened out to the new standard.
How about the
So I've
addition,
still, huh?
how about the addition of the street light down by the hangar?
well,
I'm still working on that. That's
I've been on that
These
for
guys are
9 months. It's
very
unbelievable.
unresponsive, but even this, I mean, this, I thought this was a small task, and she said, oh, it was so much work, we had to go, how much work could it have been? It can't be more than
And that
10
doesn't even
minutes.
sound like right, we were
I
supposed to
know.
save 30% on this,
I know.
but maybe that was only off of the 6-month.
Oh, this is
Bill.
just a small, this is only like 3 months.
Okay, well then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep, that's about right, about $6,000 off of the 20.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is, and I just apologize. I mean, there was a light issue out on the end of Mechanic Street. Some people out there who really see the need for that out there and
And have been very patient.
have
Us
been
too.
so patient.
Well, I'm gonna just start, I mean, the people I've called so far have not been responsive, so I'm just gonna start going through the phone book and calling
Well-
every department I can get hold of.
Right, hitting random extensions,
Yeah, or just
random
keep-
4-digit
keep
extensions
punching
once you
them.
get. No, we'll get to it, but yes, there's that and the hangar light that they want down there. And I suppose if there's any other concerns that anybody has about lights, whether there are lights that are still on that shouldn't be during the day, or there are lights that you feel should be there, now would be the time to bring it up, because it seems like it's a one-time in 10-year kind of thing that we can get a change made, and we'll see about that. But Dave, thanks for taking that on. I was starting to get apoplectic, and I knew I wasn't going to be a very good representative of the village if I had to keep doing that. Any other old, new, anything? Would you want to give us a brief treasurer report?
Couple of things I would like to mention. Number one is on the warrant that you just approved, there was there's the IRS tax deposit that is due. That number was not at the bottom of the approved warrant. This is the copy here. It is $2,039.60, so just to let you know that that is a correction. Just add it in.
So we should probably sign this copy and get
Yeah,
the
we
other
should
copy.
sign the new copy, right?
If you wouldn't mind doing that.
What's the new amount?
38,172.71.
I have one more copy.
Thank you.
Anyone's welcome to it. Second thing is I would like to see if the trustees would consider allowing Zach and Norm, the two weekly paid folks, to be paid via a direct deposit on an every Friday basis instead of having paychecks cut and do things like that. The main reason for that is that for these many years, we've kind of been doing a manual system and then trying to fit it into a payroll system so that we can generate the proper reports for tax reporting, W-2s, workers' comp audits, and the whole gamut of things that you might need. This would allow, and a sample is, oops, I don't have a sample here.
I do.
Yep. So we would have a sample of, and if Norm wouldn't mind me using his as an example, this is what a paycheck stub would look like. There would be a current period as well as a year-to-date. Don't know if you want to take a look. Pretty simple. Most of the civilized world uses these. So that would just, I think, just streamline things a little bit and cut down on some of the duplication and the little rounding errors that always happen.
Is that something that you would set up long-term, or on a weekly basis, do you submit it based on hours?
What I would do is I would, for now, I would do it the exact way that it's done now, and that is when the warrant is approved, those checks or those payrolls would be generated, set up for each subsequent Friday to have that direct deposit made. Now, that also allows the possibility that at some future time, we could go to an actual time card system where you could record actual hours worked, vacation, sick, any of the other things that go along with that. That may be something to consider down the road. I don't know that that's the way it's been done before, and I know Norm probably could speak to the issues that come up far better than I. But it would just kind of neaten things up. The other thing that I would do to maintain the segregation of duties is set Lori up so that she would have the ability to see online that village payroll account. Therefore, there's someone else other than, two pairs of eyes always looking at that and verifying the activity that goes through there. The last thing, another evolution of that could be just eliminating that payroll count altogether. You'll save $10 a month on your bank fees, not a huge deal. But the reason we have that account is that Lori needed to have an account that she could sign a check for. So again, nothing that needs to be done right now. It's just, another one of those little neatening up evolutions that could happen.
Any comments, Lori?
Just one comment,
Yep.
and we can think about this. For example, I wrote a couple of checks to some temporary highway seasonal employees for Norm, that work for Norm, that I guess we need to decide, geez, do we want them to wait 3 weeks?
Yeah, and that would be a very valid
just
reason.
write out their check, and I thought, these guys came in for Norm in the middle of the night for 20 hours that week, I need to write them a check.
I would
That
be
a
okay
very
with you
valid
doing
reason
that.
For leaving that account there.
Yeah.
And for the fact that you can just segregate all the things that go there. It's not actually critical, but there are some very good merit
Yeah. And Norm, that sounds like a favorable thing to you overall?
Right, and in the couple part-timers that I have, we only turn their slips in once a month anyway, so that really, it wouldn't be a crazy
Well, let's see
thing.
for now.
Depending on
let's
the
say-
time
yeah.
of month you give it to me.
Exactly.
You
So
know.
let's say for now, let's do it.
Whatever.
But maybe a year from now.
We're able
Well, I
to
could put
streamline.
that in direct deposit too.
Well, you can also do a combination, that's what we do,
Right.
is,
Exactly.
most of the people are direct deposit, but anybody that doesn't want to do that,
Exactly.
or.
That's an
you know,
occasional.
Yeah, then we write the occasional check for
Yeah,
somebody.
Right.
Which you could do, and which account that comes out of is, you know, probably neither here nor there. But just simply start to kind of get some of these duplications and
Yeah, that's
using
great.
systems for what they were designed for may be helpful. And knowing
Ideas.
that perhaps the bigger thing, other than the account, would be at some point being able to track accrued earned time and things like that.
Yep. Good.
And as far as any comment on numbers, I am so brain dead looking at numbers, I'm not even gonna try to get.
You've been busy on like 16 different
I know,
fronts, right?
I know. I'm
You're
not
doing
even- I'm
taxes
not
for
even gonna
people,
get
you're
there.
doing.
But I will say that should Lori ever decide not to be a teacher, she has a very promising future as a bookkeeper. You should see the work she did on entering invoices this month.
Be careful what you ask for.
Careful.
So, anyway, in your packet, you do have the typical warrant, the detail, and then just a summary year-to-date. There is no comparison yet for this, but just for this month, at least you have a year-to-date on where we stand with those income and expenses.
Yep, excellent.
Expenses. I can only report that that the cash accounts are reconciled with nothing unusual to report.
Well, that's
in
good.
there.
We always like to hear that.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think there's one issue, I guess it would be a legal/real estate issue that we would go into executive about. And it should be very brief.
Okay. Move that we move into executive session at this point in time.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.